Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of Sonic Generations. Meet Saga's Sanctuary. This was the penultimate stage from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and the final stage of this game's classic era. We will be moving on to somewhat greener pastures in the next part with the Dreamcast era. Oh, that's debatable. It depends on who you ask, really. Some people like the Dreamcast era, others don't. I personally love the Dreamcast era because that was when Sonic was coming into his own, really. Yeah, the classic game, those are still some of the best games in the series, but the Dreamcast era, it just has this attitude about it that I like. Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Advance, hell, even Sonic Heroes has got this charm to it that can't be matched. But we're not at those stages yet, we're in Sky Sanctuary from Sonic and Knuckles. Or Sonic 3 and Knuckles, even though this game technically counts Sonic and Knuckles as its own game. I don't know why. Those two games are actually meant to be one, Sega. Come on, you know this. Anyway, Sky Sanctuary is more platform heavy than the other two stages from before. Most of the time you're over a bottomless pit, and if you fall down there, you die, and that's no bueno because you'll lose your S rank. And yes, I did say no bueno because I didn't want to make the obvious "that's no good" joke. I still did it anyway. Now, I'm not sure if this was... Yeah, it was Classic Sonic. You have to play the stage 3 times in order to get all the collectibles, which I don't mind as much because the level design is good, but why put the 3 red rings on different pathways? Why not just put everything close to one pathway so I could collect everything? That's what every other zone does. I don't see why this zone has to be different. But that's besides the point. Actually, no, that seriously annoys me for some reason. But Sky Sanctuary, it's a good stage, good zone. Why do we keep calling these stages and not zones or acts? This ain't Streets of Rage. The sanctuary is crumbling. We gotta get to higher ground quickly before we die. That's not the case. You won't die if you stay here for too long. Well, that's just fantastic. Well, that's Act 1, or more technically Modern Sonic's Sky Sanctuary down. Now we gotta take care of things with Classic Sonic. Alright, so if you thought Modern Sonic's Sky Sanctuary was more platform heavy, then welcome to Classic Sonic. He is nothing but platforming here. You still got speedy sections, but it's more beneficial to take your time here, and I just missed that red ring. Well, so much for that. Guess I can't bitch about playing this stage 3 times if I'm just willfully missing rings like that. Somebody is going to call me out for that in the comments. It's the Sonic fanbase, of course. They call people out for anything. Though I will admit, the fanbase has gotten better over the years. Now it's the Star Wars fanbase I'm worried about. Yes, I know, Last Jedi was a terrible movie. Even I don't like The Last Jedi. But it's been 8 years, guys, come on. But this is not a Star Wars commentary, this is a Sonic commentary. Therefore, I should be bitching about Sonic 06. And Sonic... I said I don't really care about Forces, but it's not bad. It's not like Sonic Blast, or as I like to call it, Sonic Blasted Out of Your Ass, because it sucks. And no, not Sonic 3D Blast, even though I don't like that game either. Sonic 3D Blast has a charm to it, like the music. I like the music of Sonic 3D Blast. Sonic Blast on the Game Gear, yeah, there's no redeeming that. Anyway, Sonic is drawing closer and closer to the Death Egg, which... Oh wow, I guess this is kind of a Star Wars commentary now that I think about it. The Death Star-like structure in the background. If Sonic is not ripping off Dragon Ball Z, then he's ripping off Star Wars. And if he's not ripping off Star Wars, then they got Michael Jackson to do music for Sonic 3. What? Yes, that is true, and Sega wants you to forget about it for some reason. And that's kind of a shame, because I really love Sonic 3's soundtrack. And I mean love, like, that's #1 soundtrack of the whole entire series for me. And that's even after listening to Adventure 2's whole entire soundtrack, which I think is a close second. Anyway, what's your guys' favorite soundtracks in the Sonic series? Is it Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic Adventure, Sonic Rush? Hell, for as bad as 06 was, that game has an amazing soundtrack too. In fact, I don't think there is a bad Sonic soundtrack other than Dark Chronicles. Like, Sonic has been consistent with music. Oh boy, here's the part where you have to ask yourself, why are the red rings like this? Why are they like this? Look at this! You seriously cannot tell me that the developers actually wanted you to play this act 3 times in order to get everything. It's dumb, I think it's garbage water, and it's stupid. Anyway, that's Sky Sanctuary sound. Now for Knuckles.
Thanks, Sonic. Now then, tell me, where is the rest of my island? Sonic!
Alright, so I've been holding back on this subject since the first part, not too long ago. And, yeah, this game was redubbed. I'm not going to say that all the new lines are bad because you got some pretty good lines, but Knuckles is pretty atrocious, especially the voice. And also doesn't help that Sonic, or at least classic Sonic, did not change his animation, because it just looked like he ate Angel Island. Yeah, sorry about that, Knuckles, but I couldn't help it. Looks like a big old Angel Island cake. I just had to take a bite. So I don't like Knuckles' new voice for the redub. Oh, Rouge. Oh, what did they do to Rouge? She sounds terrible in this game.
Whatever.
Who thought that line was a good idea? I do want to preface this in saying that I have nothing against the voice actors or actresses, but the voice direction, I do want to say, why do you have Karen Strassman sound like that for Rouge? Especially considering that she's done a good job of voicing the character before. In fact, most of the cast of the characters in this game sound kind of off compared to the original Sonic generations. I will say Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails, who replaces Kate Higgins from the original Sonic generations, does a good job. Blaze, Espio, and Vector sound good for their characters, and yeah, that's about it. And don't get me wrong, I like Mike Pollock as Eggman. He's probably my favorite Eggman voice, but I don't think he's that good in the redub either, and that's mainly due to again, it's the voice direction. And I think it has more to do with Ian Flynn's style of writing. Now, if you're not familiar with who Ian Flynn is, he was the head writer for the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comics. And he's a bit of a divisive writer at that because people either like his writing or they hate his writing. Ian Flynn tends to, let's just say, make a lot of references to previous events, even if those references don't make sense in context to what's going on right now. There's also what I like to call Blue Ranger syndrome, where in this game in particular, certain characters, mainly Tails, try to use as many syllables in one sentence as possible to sound smarter than they, well, I guess they actually are that smart, but come on. Come on. And even Sonic has the same problem as Tails, though not to the same extent. He does stumble upon his wording later in the game, though I think that might be on purpose, him trying to say so much in so little time. Anyway, I just talked over that whole entire minigame. This one in particular, you have to use Tails as a helicopter in order to get across a big ravine. Not a big deal, pretty simple. This is actually one of many mini-games, how redundant, that you play throughout the game. Also redundant, what the hell? You only need to play 3 mini-games for each era in order to grab the key for that era's boss. You also need to locate a rival for an era too. Right to my left is Metal Sonic. I will not be fighting Metal Sonic just yet, not dirtying my hands of a carbon copy, a clone, a fake if you will. Shadow is the true badass rival of Sonic, not this metal crap. No, I'm kidding. I like Metal Sonic too, but come on, Shadow's way cooler. I would like to see Metal Sonic return in another mainline game. I mean, where was the last time we seen him? Sonic 4 from 2010? And we all know how that game turned out.
It's a race to the finish.
Alright, Metal did return in Shadow Generations, but he was just like a one-and-done boss fight. I would like to see more of Metal Sonic. Anyway, this mini-game or mini-side mission here involves modern Sonic and modern Tails racing each other. And even though Tails is in a plane of all things, he does not know how to pilot the damn thing, because he can easily beat him so quickly. Oh, Sonic Racing from Sonic R. I do not like this version of the song. Just give me the original, please. I actually like the original way better. I don't know what it is about this version of the song. Actually, I know exactly what it is. It's auto-tune. And as for Tails, I just effectively left him in the dust. Kind of like how it was in Sonic 2 and 3. God damn, Tails, you still don't know how to fly that damn thing? That's a Tails mission down and out. Now each one of Sonic's friends will have a mission for him. There are 9 total characters that Sonic can meet throughout the game, and their missions are different between Modern and Classic, which effectively makes 18 different missions with these characters. Like for example, I just did both of Tails' side missions, one of which I have to race against him, and the other one I had to work with him. And for some strange reason, Tails has a classic and a modern incarnation, but the other characters don't. It's kind of strange. I expect the singular look for characters like Blaze and Shadow since they're newer, but Amy and Knuckles, they don't even get their classic looks. But Tails does. Metal Sonic boss fight. Now you could technically call this the first boss of the game if you don't go for the Death Egg robot first, but who does that? Metal is a simple fight. His first attack is to immediately dash towards you. You can jump on top of him while he's dashing in order to deal damage, but that takes timing, or you wait for him to stop dashing and he's left vulnerable. The second attack is him trying to smite Sonic, which fails because it's easy to avoid. You're not God, Metal Sonic! The only true God in the Sonic universe is Shadow. I mean, what? Here's the next attack, which is admittedly harder to avoid, but it's still not that bad. And I swear, sometimes these canisters track your location, and that kinda sucks. Anyway, Metal Sonic will throw these canisters at you, and you have to wait for him to make himself vulnerable again. You won't be able to hit him. Which is almost a running theme with Sonic Generations bosses. Some of their attacks you have to wait for them to finish before you can hit them back. At least they're not as bad as Sonic Rush's boss fights. Or Sonic Advance 2's boss fights. And speaking of Sonic Advance 2, this attack kind of reminds me of Sonic Advance 2 in a way. Sonic, how did you not break your goddamn foot there? You just kicked metal! Sonic all of a sudden just became a Power Ranger or Superman and just punched steel without any sort of consequence. Oh boy. Oh boy. You got a Chaos Emerald. Legend says that collecting all 7 will cause a mysterious power to emerge. Well, I've played every Sonic game, or at least every mainline Sonic game. And Sonic 1 doesn't count because there's only 6. So, yeah, collecting all 7 Chaos Emeralds does absolutely nothing in this game. I'm serious, you can't turn into Super Sonic.
Whoever finishes first wins.
I mean, you could turn into Super Sonic, both classic and modern, but you have to buy it at the shop. It's not from the Chaos Emeralds, it's a shop thing, and it's stupid. Admittedly, not being able to turn into Super Sonic until the final battle had been a thing since Sonic Adventure, maybe even 3D Blast if you want to go back that far, but still. I just want my God Mode invincibility with repetitive music and wonky controls, okay? That's just straight up abuse, Sonic. You're going to jail. Anyway, this side activity involves Amy Rose, and we have to get to the goalpost before Amy does. And we have to use these really finicky as hell top flying saucer things. Which, if I were in a position to use either that or the Pico Pico hammer, honestly, I prefer the hammer. That's actually a weapon that Amy does not use that much nowadays. I'm kind of sad about that. I know that was a big thing in the early 2000s, but it's kind of strange that she just stops using it. Seems like it disappeared. I will say, and this is my controversial take, her characterization nowadays is better than it was in the 2000s. I know I'll get burnt at the stake by saying that, but it's true. Don't tell me that you actually liked Crazy Stalker Amy from the advanced games or Sonic X or Sonic Rush compared to Amy from Sonic Boom, which is actually a good characterization of Amy if I do say so myself. And come present day, we got Frontiers Amy, which that's another good characterization of her. Like, I don't hate Amy Rose as a character, I just hated the early 2000s iteration of her, where she's just infatuated with Sonic all the time. And while we're on the subject of Amy, I guess I should get to her changes in the 2024 remaster. I don't mind them. I actually really don't mind them. Like in the original game, Amy's trying to give Sonic a hug and he's just pushing her away a bit. Now in that same scene in the remaster, she's giving him a plate of cupcakes. And nothing of value was lost from that scene. Nothing at all. There's also another scene where Amy bitch slaps Knuckles so hard he gets sent flying into a tree. And that was funny at first, but I'm like, dude, they disrespected Knuckles. Here, he just staggers back from the bitch slap. That's it.
Take a good look at yourself, Sonic.
Dr. Eggman!
It's the last thing you'll see in this world.
Another Sonic? What? Wait a second!
Catch me if you can!
Alright, here's the final boss of the classic era of Sonic, is the Death Egg Robot. It is a pretty simple fight. It works somewhat differently than how it was in Sonic 2. Here you have to actually hit him in the ass. But in order to actually get the opportunity to do that, you have to wait for him to attack. He'll take 2 steps forward, then target you with his retractable arms, which will occasionally miss. Good job, Eggman, good job. Then he'll make a huge leap forward trying to crush you. This will give you plenty of opportunity to spin dash under him. And this is where the fun begins. This part can be kind of janky. It really depends on where Eggman strikes his fist. You have to activate these bombs by pressing a button, and then have Eggman target those bombs, basically. And this part is, it's a little bit trash. You gotta time the button press with when Eggman's about to strike, and also aim it towards the bombs, and that's a little bit... Okay, that should have done something right there. Sometimes your methods don't even fucking work. Ugh. Get a load of this! What's everyone's favorite Eggman / Robotnik quote? This man has quotes for days. There we go. Eggman here, he's the mean beam machine of mean memes. And he's not gonna stop anytime soon. Was that a space train in the background? What was that? I can't reach Eggman. Oh. It's like I'm trying to high-five Shaquille O'Neal. Oh well, you live and you learn. Just like this indie song I heard this one time. You know, for the amount of explosion this man has survived, I'm surprised Eggman is not just a brain in a jar at this point.
No! Sonic, save me!
Huh. Couldn't have done it better myself.
This confirms it. It sure does. Older versions of us. Places and enemies from our past. We're traveling through time, Sonic!
This new line kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie.
Without the time stones?
It's like that big thing that kidnapped Eggman can consume time. And then it looks like it dragged your friends here. I mean, our friends. You know what I mean. There it is! Where'd it go?
We need to track it down, and fast.
You didn't use the time stones to travel back in time, Sonic. You used the goalposts. Oh. That, my friends, is a reference that did not make sense. If you played Sonic the Hedgehog CD, you would know this. You would know this. Anyway, that's going to do it for part 2 of Sonic Generations. Stay tuned for part 3, where we take on my favorite era of Sonic. It's the Dreamcast days. Oh boy, how I miss these days.